Today I'm going to tell you something you probably don't expect from me. Don't buy that farmland. Yes, you heard that right. Even though I always talk about agriculture, about independence, about how important it is to own your own land, today I'm telling you, stop. Not because agriculture isn't a great opportunity, not because you shouldn't do it, but because there is a specific order that you have to follow. And skipping steps is the mistake that is ruining 90% or more of agricultural projects before they even begin. So listen carefully because it's really important. First, for those who don't know me, let me introduce myself. I am Alessandro De Luca. I am the co-founder of Rendita Agricola, and together with my wife Valentina, we have guided over 3,000 students who wanted to become freer with agriculture, who wanted to create agricultural projects. And in these 10 years, I've seen hundreds of people make the exact same mistake. Today I want to spare you years of suffering and tens of thousands of euros wasted, because I've seen it too many times and every time it hurts so much. So stick with me, because what I'm about to tell you could save you from a mistake that could lead to failure before you even start. But let's take a step back and talk about the real mistake, because in itself wanting to buy land isn't the mistake. The mistake is the order in which you do it. Look, what almost always happens is this. Someone has a dream. They want self-sufficiency, they want to build an agricultural income, they want to leave the city, live differently, and this is beautiful, really. It's a dream I deeply respect, because it was mine too. But then what they do? They go online, read a few articles, watch a few videos, maybe talk to someone who's been doing agriculture their whole life, and they convince themselves, okay, I get it. Now I need land. So they start looking. They find an opportunity. Maybe it's nice land, beautiful view, perfect location. The owner even gives a good price, and there's urgency. Look, if you don't decide, there's someone else interested. And at that point, the fear of missing out, it's now or never. If I don't take it, someone else will. I'll train later. I'll figure out what to do later. But for now, let me secure it. And they sign. They buy 30,000, 50,000, 80,000 euros, all their capital or worse, a mortgage, and only after they start to understand how agriculture actually works, but only after they realize what they have actually bought. Except by, at that point, it's too late, because that land might not be right for what they wanted to do. Maybe it's too big, maybe it has problems they didn't know how to spot before. And maybe, just maybe, all their capital went there and now they have no funds left to actually start their project. And unfortunately, I've seen this happen so many times. That's why I want to tell you some stories, real stories of people we have helped, because it's important you understand I'm not talking, I don't know, hot hair, okay? Annalisa and Rosie, for example, two smart girls, full of dreams. In 2012, they decided to start with agriculture. They bought land, spent 20,000–30,000 euros to get it set up at a small orchard plant. 7 years later, when they contacted us, they saw their first fruits. We'd look out the window at the orchard that had never produced anything, and we'd want to cry. These are their words. 7 years watching their invested money rot, constantly wondering where they went wrong. 7 years working in a bar to pay the bills, with their dream slowly dying. The good news, they were brave enough to try again. They contacted us in 2019, we worked together, and today they have a beautiful farm with berries, saffron, vegetable gardens and more. They live off it, but most importantly, they are happy. And they could have had it 7 years earlier if only they'd known where to start. Let me tell you another one, Domenico. He contacted me when he was about to take out a 150,000 euro loan, a grant, 50% non-repayable, an incredible opportunity, he said. The problem was he didn't know yet what he'd actually do, let alone take on a grant with specific constraints. It would have forced him to do certain things in certain ways with certain investments, and he hadn't yet figured out if it made sense for his project. I stopped him. I told him, first understand what you want to do, then we'll see if this grant makes sense. He trusts me, he took our courses, we worked together. Today he has his own farm. He sells to restaurants, to private clients, Jerusalem artichokes, vegetables, saffron, almonds. He's built a line of processed products and he's very happy about this. The business grows year after year, and most importantly, he doesn't have that 150,000 euro debt on his shoulders. Or another guy that comes to mind, 55,000 euros for land. He wanted to grow berries and herbs. After buying it, during analysis we realized that the land had 1.2% organic matter, basically inert, not very good land. Okay? So it had been sold to him as all nicely worked. In reality, it was dead, destroyed. We had to rebuild everything from scratch with a completely different project. 2 years lost, 55,000 euros. He could have invested much better. And I could go on because none of these are isolated cases. They are all normal patterns when you think in the wrong order. Now the question is, why does this happen so often? Why do intelligent, smart, motivated people make this mistake? First, because it seems logical. If I want to do agriculture, I need land, so I buy land. Makes sense, right? Except it doesn't, because not all land is the same. It could be perfect for one thing and terrible for another, or be beautiful to look at but impossible to work, and maybe it could cost little but require 50,000 euros in investments to make it productive. Second, fear of missing out. Maybe the owner pressures you and you think, but if I don't take it now, I lose it. Let me tell you how it is. Land is always available. It's not true that if you miss this one, you'll never find another. It's artificial pressure that makes you make wrong decisions. Third, misplaced trust. You ask advice from the agronomist, the farmer in town, maybe you read some article online, and here I have to tell you something uncomfortable. The agronomist might be good at soil analysis, at giving you technical indications, but how many agronomists have a farm that generates revenue? How many actually live off agriculture? It's not mean-spirited, it's just that they are different professionists. It's like asking a mechanic how to drive in Formula 1. He knows a lot about cars, sure, but he's never driven them in a race. And fourth, underestimation. People think, after all, it's simple. I plant, I water, I harvest, then I'll see how to sell it. No, folks, it doesn't work like that. Agriculture is complex. It's biology, it's agronomy, it's time management, it's economics, it's marketing. It's a complete system that needs to be designed, not improvised. So, what's the right order? How do you really do it? I'll tell you very simply. The right order is, first, get trained. Before spending a single euro on land, you understand how agriculture really works. And I'm not talking about stopping at a YouTube video or the first blog article you find. You need to go deep. You need to know what type of agriculture you want to do, which crops make sense for you, what characteristics the land must have for those crops, how much land you really need. Spoiler, a lot of times, much less than you think. How to manage an agricultural business from start to finish, how to sell what you will produce. All of these before buying land. Second, plan. Once you have the knowledge, then you can start planning, not let's see what happens. You need to follow a specific plan. Where am I growing it? How much space do I need? How much does it cost? How much time does it require? Who am I selling to? At what price? When do I recover the investment? Only after creating this plan in black and white with numbers, you go look for the right land for that specific project. Third, find the right land. Not some land, the right land for what you want to do. And here training saves you, because you know what to look for, you know what question to ask, you know how to spot problems, you know how to evaluate if the price makes sense, only after information and training. Fourth, start small. Even if you have a lot of capital, start with little. Better to spend 10,000 on land and have 40,000 to grow the business than spend 50,000 on land and find yourself without capital. But in general, always better 1 hectare managed well than 5 managed poorly. This is important. You can always expand later, but if you start too big, you can't go back. And it's a problem because when you don't know how to manage everything, it will be a chaos and it's really difficult to solve it, alright? Fifth, test and adjust. Even with the best plan, there will be things to adjust at the beginning. It's normal, but if you have done the right steps before, there'll be small adjustments, not irreparable disasters. Now, maybe you're wondering, okay Ale, but how do I really get trained? How do I plan the right way? We have developed a method over the years. It's called the BSC method, which stands for Biosynergistic Conscious. It's not just agronomy, it's a complete approach to designing an agricultural business that really works. It's the method that Annalisa and Rosie used to restart and the method that Domenico used to build his farm, and it's the method that's allowed hundreds of our students to succeed, and it could allow you to as well, avoiding hundreds of mistakes. Now, what will you do with this information? If you were about to buy a land, stop. Take a month, 2 months, use that time to really train yourself and understand what you're about to do. The land will still be there, and if that one won't be there anymore, there will be another, don't worry. But if you buy the wrong one, recovering is incredibly hard. If instead you have already bought and now realize you made the mistake, it's not over, seriously. We have helped so many people who had already made the mistake. It can be recovered. It requires time, it requires work, but it can be done, don't worry. If instead you're starting from zero and this video stopped you in time, you're lucky because you have the chance to do things in the right order from the beginning. Down in the description you will find more information to explore the topic further, and if you check out the channel you will also find the complete testimonials of our students, like the ones I talked about today, that you can watch whenever you want. You can go on renditaagricola.com and you will find everything. If you have questions, write them in the comments. I respond personally, and if this video opens your eyes, share it. It could save someone else from years of suffering. So, thank you for your attention, and always remember, prepare before and not after. See you in the next video.